So, in,
I'll sign.
and there, she's.
Are you ready? Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order because we are at quorum. So Tracy, can I get a roll call?
Sure can. Chairwoman Weber McLeod.
Present.
Mr. Andre is excused for the moment. Counselor Cuddy.
Here.
Ms. Crawford. Here. Mayor Giantino.
Here.
Mr. Lovell.
Here.
Ms. Walter, I'm sure is on her way. Ms. Hennigan.
Here.
Mr. Del Favaro.
Here.
Would you like me to go ahead with the minutes as well?
Yes, please.
Everyone should have received a copy of our last March meeting minutes in their packet. Does anyone have any questions, revisions, comments, concerns? You good?
All good.
If not, I will accept a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Counselor Cuddy. Second,
By Dan.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, I just say it. So I'm going to move right into our new business item. We are here in and on a purpose. So we are here at the site of the Hilton Garden Inn for today's meeting. They've been one of our projects over the years. And as you all know, that we made a commitment to step up our responsibility to do site visits, and we're doing a number of them literally at the physical locations of some of our projects. So Tracy, I'll let you take over introducing Mr. Ridley. He's my buddy. Hi, how are you? Welcome. Eric, do you know everybody here? Do we need to do a round of introductions?
I need to look at it. I'm Alec. I'm here for Rob.
Hi.
Hancock.
Take a seat. Sit anywhere, Alec. Let me just do that for you, Eric.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on, I got one of my board members rolling in. Do we have enough chairs?
We got one over here and then we got a.
I can get some right through that door right there.
I think we have
There's one
enough.
here that I'm using for the camera.
Bill.
Hey.
Hi.
Have a seat.
Bill, as you settle in, we were just starting the new business section where we're gonna have Eric talk about why we're here. Give you a minute. You want some water?
No, I'm good, thank you.
All righty. I'm gonna start by just going around and doing a quick round of introductions. I think Eric may know most of us, but not all of you may not know Eric. So Counselor Cuddy, would you start?
I'm Terry Cuddy, Auburn City Councilor and a teacher at BOCES.
Dan? We'll go
I'm
you.
Dan, I'm Auburn School Board.
And you can reintroduce.
I'm Alec Savage. I'm at Hancock Osterbrook for Rob.
And
Matt Del Favaro. I work over at FedEp.
Bill Henry, I'm the member of Labor.
I do.
I think we've met
a
before.
few times.
I mean, a music video with this guy.
Tess.
Hi, I'm Tessa. I work for the Auburn School District.
And Courtney.
Hi, I'm Courtney. I work for Q County.
Great. So Tracy, now I will. Thank you. My mother would be so proud of me. I forget I have home training. Could you do the introduction?
Yeah, so, I mean, most of you know Eric, but just in terms of the Hilton Garden Inn, he's been involved since the very beginning. Very, very beginning, like hanging out at the chamber before this place was even built. I believe tasting wine in Amy's office, maybe?
Cannot confirm. Amy was a big help.
I'm sure she was. And so he's been a part of this hotel for a very long time. Well, not, I mean, I guess in the history of time, not that long, but
As a percentage, it's a long time.
Well,
Of my life anyway.
but now has a very fancy title that I can't remember from at Pioneer Companies. I can't remember your new title.
President and COO.
President CEO. Oh, and is responsible for a lot of development projects and for the company, and is very has a very good sense of what's going on in the hospitality industry through both that and the Hotel Association.
Yeah, the New York State Hotel Association, Hospitality and Tourism Association. I'm the immediate past chair. I've been on that board since 2008, representing 1,100 hotels in New York State outside the 5 boroughs.
So he has a lot to offer in terms of just knowledge around the hospitality industry in addition to the hotel. So since he knows all the fancy things he has, I'll hand it off to him. But I did want to mention those couple of things that.
Yeah, so as Tracy said, I started here. I was the opening general manager of this property. So Mr. Falcone hired me in 2011. And then throughout the course of time, was the principal asset manager for our entire hospitality portfolio across the US. We had out west in Colorado a number of hotels, and then here in New York State. So I handled all that. And then with respect to this asset, obviously there's a pilot that we're under right now. This is a monitoring visit. Thank you. We'd love to see you, by the way. And I'm here to, first of all, answer any questions that you have with respect to our performance or ethos or how we feel we fit into the community. This is a community project. This hotel would not have been built, but not for the idea that the theater was going to go down on State Street, which unfortunately it did not. Luckily, we've been able to succeed. But you know, there are a lot of really positive things happening in our area and region, which get us really excited. But there are also demand contractions and increasing supply that give us a lot of concern as well. So I'm happy to talk through any questions that you have, either amongst the through my role as, you know, on the association and lobbying side and what we see in the industry, or, you know, our
Yeah, let me do something, Eric. Tracy, if you can maybe help us set a context, because there's just some basic things that ADA board needs to be monitoring. And then I think we can just, if you want to just pose the first question to kind of align all of what Eric's here to talk about. And then Eric, I think sharing just any trending information that you're not learning from your state role, I think that would be helpful to us as we're thinking about moving forward.
Absolutely.
Sound like a plan?
Yep.
Okay, so I think it would help, Trace, for you to set the context.
Yeah, so basically, in terms of the monitoring visit, we're interested in how things are going here at this property. How's visitation, how's revenue? Obviously, some of that might be proprietary, but within what you can share, you know, how are things going? What challenges you're seeing, what the expectations are in the next coming years? And if there's any way that ADA can continue to support the facility or the property. So from a monitoring standpoint, it's really just like a wellness check. If you can start there, and then I do think that it would be really great to get some context on, to Gwen's point, on the trends in the area.
All right. So with respect to this asset, I mean, obviously it performs very well. Our partners are all happy with our returns, and you know, this project doesn't exist unless they're able to make money, right? So we obviously haven't transacted on this hotel or gone through a disposition, so we're happy with it. We haven't even explored selling the asset because it is very successful. We kind of feel pretty strongly that we're in this demand sweet spot where, you know, we're not full all the time. Summers compress, which is great, and the city being last to fill because rates are a little bit elevated is a good thing. More tax revenue, by the way. And so we're really bullish about what Micron's going to do to the region. I sit on the Center State CEO board. We're very excited about that. You know, I think it's 3,800 households or something like that in Cuyahoga County, give or take, over the course of that project, which for this county is huge. Not to mention the outlying area. So we're excited. This is a long-term hold for us. We're not, you know, those things could change, but 90, I think, % of our investors are local here to Auburn, so, or Cuyahoga County or the region generally. So we intend to keep this project as sort of a cornerstone of the community. So things are going really well. We do great work with our local businesses. We have an incredible amount of support from the Nucor Steels of the world and Tessie Plastics and Courier and those guys. Like, we've been really successful in generating really good relationships with those folks. And so we feel pretty bullish about Auburn, Cuyahoga County generally, but this asset has performed objectively from just the arithmetic really well.
What's next?
If I knew that, like, I'd be super rich. So I should say that obviously COVID was a 3.5-year disruption, right? So that hurt us a lot. Our 7-year renovation happened in year 12. So that was really tough. We put 2.75 million of our own capital back into the building to renovate, to stay, so that we're not, like other assets in the region that perhaps have maybe reflagged or done something different because they didn't want to invest that kind of money. We feel like we owe it to the community to keep this asset as sort of a marquee asset in the community that they can rely on when they bring people here. So as for what's next, it's tough to say because 2022, 2023, we had what was called revenge trap, right? So people were, sort of locked up for a couple of years and then decided that they wanted to lean into experiences rather than things. And therefore, we just saw generally this blended leisure and business travel started to really ramp up. That is now gone. And so, I mean, I can give you, year on year, say, with respect to occupancy, we were down, let's see, 10.2% year over year, 24 to 25. So we are seeing demand retractions. Market, go ahead.
Do you see that, I've heard tourism wise, like Canadians aren't coming down.
They are very upset with us.
Yeah, so I mean, that's like a big issue,
And-
just
and-
general
and-
tourism.
Yeah, candidly, like that, we hear that from them when they are here. That is really difficult because it's such a huge part of our business. Our feeder markets are, Toronto, Ottawa, and then Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Ohio. But like, it's incredibly difficult to do business as we do, as seasonally as we do it, because not only are we getting Canadian travelers for, their leaf peeping and their shopping and they're coming here depending on the exchange rate or whatever. But we also get a lot of Canadians for our hockey tournaments, and that helps us in the off season, right? So it's exacerbated our, and in the same time, without that revenue, and that's a high value guest, right? Those guests typically pay higher rates because they are brand loyal but not price sensitive. So we typically are able to capture more of that retail guest rather than having to sort of lean into third party, like the Expedias of the world, where you're paying commissions and they're lower rates, et cetera. So we do that occasionally. We do have to pivot and be nimble with respect to the segmentation. But so that's part of the unknown though, right? Like revenge travels over, Canadians don't like us. And then everybody, the economic uncertainty more broadly, whether it be at the state or federal level, is just causing organizations as a whole to, you've seen it, I think 1,600 employees and then another 1,000 were laid off from major companies today. So Disney just announced there. So like people are not, and the line item that goes first when you're trimming is travel and entertainment. And so we're feeling that pretty harshly right now. That said, we're good at what we do. It's a good investment. It performs well because we're able to pivot, but no question that, and we pay each member of our staff at the line level on up better than a living wage. And, New York State's helpful with that, but those costs are that people tell us all the time that we charge too much or we charge a high rate, but that is not a function of greed. It's a function of expense. So our energy costs are incredibly high at the moment. Our labor costs are incredibly high at the moment. And therefore the blended average across the balance of the year, yes, the summertime is compressed so we can charge more, but across the balance of the year, it's enough to get a decent return for our partners. That's the goal.
So Eric, when you think about, I was kind of picturing my head of successes, challenges, and emerging opportunities. So what do you think are, and maybe this is trend information that you want to give us too, but specifically to this property, but just within your industry, what are some emerging opportunities you see in the hospitality space? I'm always curious about trend data for our board because I always want us to be thinking about what might the future be calling us to do. So I'd like to understand that from this perspective, from your perspective. What's the emerging opportunity?
So let me give you like a 10-year look, right? Because through my time on the board at Nishta, we used to own a third of the International Hotel Motel Restaurant show at Javits. And when we ended up selling that show, we sold it to another like trade show organization. And they the only thing that was growing at that time, the only segment of that show, it wasn't any of the branded stuff, it wasn't the main show itself, it was boutique design, BDNY, Boutique Design New York. So we started to see a little bit of that, like you started to see more independent boutique hotels open up. That kind of started just prior to the Airbnb type thing, and then all of a sudden that those boutique hotels turned into just Airbnbs, right? So, so what we're seeing generally now that COVID has sort of accelerated that is people are looking for, as I said before, experiences rather than things. So the things that we're looking at right now, the last 3 projects in the hospitality work that we've looked at hasn't been ground up development in a city center. It's been, and our focus is more the human ecology at the moment anyway, and how people interact with places and spaces. And so they've been these sort of decentralized cabin concepts, with multiple, say, hotel rooms in like a cabin in an area that was proximal to amenity, but sort of a bespoke, undiscovered place, right? That said, the right city center is great. I mean, if you're I mean, Austin's kind of overbuilt at the moment, but if you're in Bozeman, you're killing it downtown. And Syracuse is about to become something a little bit different, but it's very rare nowadays that the barriers to entry are just too high, right? And now with people seeking out that experience, we find more and more that we're doing a deal right now up on Lake Ontario on 1,200 feet of lake frontage, and that's exactly what we're doing, 60 units and 30 cabins, which allows us as developers to have a less expensive parcel of land. We panelize the product, so that's less expensive. And so we get that same end product and result and capacity in a way that we wouldn't be able to do because of construction costs to go vertical. So
Just also any
I
other.
think you're gonna find that going forward. There's a reason that no one said a word about the hotel going in Syracuse, the $89 million Curio, because if that happens, I mean, it was a lot of pomp and circumstance, and I hope to God that it does happen. But with construction costs the way they are and the volatility in the markets, if it were me, I would pump the brakes on that tomorrow.
Go ahead, Tim.
Can I, as a point of clarification, what you're describing with this decentralized, is it like the Seneca, those like small cabins and like Seneca? or is
No,
that-
we're talking,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
if Ralph Lauren designed a
Okay,
campground.
so they're definitely not like the.
Yeah, it's basically
A higher.
It's
That's where I'm going.
I grew up in Hijimata. I love Hijimata. Well, the cabins, it's a very well appointed and large hotel room that just doesn't open up into a corridor, and you can walk the grounds, and it's more of a community rather than
Gotcha.
having to, be surrounded by
Kind of like Mirabal, or?
kinda.
Or
kind
if the Senate Scan Atlas Fields,
No, not quite Skinny Atlas Fields. Same vibe though.
same about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm just, new lingo, I'm trying to.
Anything else that's related to this being one of our
Can-
projects?
Can I just ask a question? Something you said that tweaked my interest. When you said high labor cost, what labor are you talking about?
All of it. I'm talking front desk, I'm talking housekeeping, maintenance, our supervisors, the salary minimum wage has gone up substantially. It's across our platform.
Okay,
Mhm.
I'm trying to be respectful, but that's not even a living wage. So
Uh,
that bothers me, that concerns me.
I'm not sure what you,
I mean, if you're paying that kind of wage,
no, I'm not suggesting we're paying minimum wage. I'm saying the salary to minimum wage for an exempt employee that is not subject to overtime pay, I should clarify, has gone up substantially, as has the hourly wage, but we don't tick up our base wage based off of the minimum wage. What I'm saying is that over time, when your ability to pay the cost of labor is driven off of the growth in your rate, right? Because at some point you stop being able to grow in occupancy. You're at capacity. So the only thing you can do if wages go up, over the last 10 years, it's 40%. Our ADR has not gone up 40% in the last 10 years. And so at what point do you, and we provide our benefit packages are really good. We provide insurance and 401k and all to everyone across
Okay.
the board.
Thank you for clarifying.
But the cost of labor as a function of what we're able to drive with respect to rate, that's what's difficult. Because if we wanted to sort of cash flow as a percentage today as we did back then, the rates would be substantially high. So we have to have that balance, right? Between and so it's not so much that, as I said before, that we achieve the rates that we do as a function of just this overwhelming demand for hotel rooms in Auburn, New York. It's just the cost of doing business.
I appreciate the clarification.
Anything else?
Good. I did have a question about, when you mentioned like Nucor and Tessie that you have relationships with them, like with projects or with how they have, like maybe the administration.
They come stay with us.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no,
if it was
we do occasionally partner with organizations. Like when the Double Days were in town, we had a partnership with them and we provided services they gave. We do that occasionally, but what I'm talking about is we'll provide attractive rates to local business so that it helps their bottom line and ours. And so we've maintained those great relationships. And it's nice for those. I mean, those are some pretty well-heeled big organizations. It's nice to have a nice hotel. That, by the way, I can tell you, there are days in the summertime where we're getting we own a hotel in Skinny Alice. We own the Paco House, and we're getting higher rates here than we are in Skinny Alice. So, but we also have to not charge those rates of January. So that becomes difficult.
Anything else? Tracy? Did we do our duty? Good. Did Eric fill out the things we needed to respond to? Do you have just a closing thought or anything, Eric, for us?
What do you want the ADA board to know?
What would I like the ADA board to know? Well, this is being recorded, so I don't know. Go on record. But
It will be used against you.
Now that
as
it's
all things
clear.
are.
Now that everything's on the table.
I'm a town supervisor as well. People look torches, pitchforks, they used to it all. But I would say that my closing thought would be that I think we would, as an industry, like to have the opportunity to paint a more clear picture to local authorities and municipalities with respect to like how hospitality works and what drives hospitality and how that guest isn't always the guest that is spoken about in a political context. Because I mean, Jimmy and I have had conversations that's about the city tax. I have very strong opinions and feelings about that because in my role here at this company and also representing 1,100 hotels to the state government, we know what we're talking about, right? So when decisions are made by either authorities or governments without the full context of the subject matter experts, that doesn't feel great because as if we're talking about the tourism board, for instance, if you're the single largest contributor of the occupancy tax in the county is us. So we would love our industry isn't this decentralized sort of, it's just out of towners and therefore seeking our opinion is less important because we're not necessarily serving the constituency. We would just like to have the opportunity to be part of that educational push-pull, like we're fine with tension. But we find more and more that, and we deal with this across the state with local governments, especially now, pulling back on tourism funding. We fight that a lot. And then we wrote the short-term rental bill. We wrote that, we assisted in that, the passage of that. We also just as much advocate for municipalities as much as push back against municipalities. Like we just want the playing field to be level and fair and have candid conversations about cause and effect, because I can certainly see why the opinions are what they are, because the end goals are necessary, right? But the long-term fallout has yet to be determined on that. And for when we're at $500 a night, so that for the balance of the year to pay the bills, an additional 5% is a lot of money for somebody across the balance of their stay. So that could be the determining factor as to whether or not they come here or somewhere else. And we hope to be parts of those conversations. If we would love to have a discussion about any, a new hotel coming into the market and what that does to our business, that, we all have a fiduciary responsibility to our partners. And so that happening without the full context, like if all of a sudden we're 92% across the board and turning people away, that's a different discussion, because competition is good in that context. But when you don't fill that balance of the year, and there is no demand driver coming in associated with that additional asset, then you're just splitting the baby. And
So am I hearing you say, if I'm not hearing it correctly, tell me.
I don't know if I just said anything at all.
Well, I had a previous conversation with you about this, so I just want to make sure I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yes.
So I think I'm hearing you say, Eric, that when discussions are happening around like room packs, those kinds of things, that you would like, as a professional in this industry, to have a seat at the table as part of the discussions are unfolding, to provide some additional insight around impact of what municipalities are deciding to do. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah. I mean, so as I said
To
before,
provide an educational perspective about impact, because of course, the mayor, the councilor of the county has to make the decisions.
ultimately,
But
yes.
to be part of providing information that could inform decision making. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Correct.
Okay.
Just a much more collaborative relationship,
I
because I would rather, frankly, I would, as someone who I guess I would consider to be a leader in the industry, would advocate for working with municipalities on the best path forward to achieve their end goal, rather than lobby against them.
got it. I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I came in late and I apologize for that, but I don't know if you'd mentioned, what do you need to have occupancy to be sustainable? Is there like?
It depends on at what rate. There are about 10 different factors, so there isn't one
There's
real
no
number.
answer.
No.
Well, thank you for having us at my home away from home. I hang out here all the time.
Thanks for coming.
No, I
And
really
if you
do.
guys ever need space again, let us know. We're happy to help. And
I do a lot of my plotting and planning with my girlfriends in that restaurant.
costs nothing to wheel a TV down here.
So, all right, Eric, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for continuing to do business in Auburn. We appreciate that. And
Yeah, we love it here. We'd like to. I mean, we don't just do hotels. We're trying to do more stuff in Auburn. So,
Great.
All right.
Regardless, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Great. So it's important to be on site and when it's possible. Just any general reactions, follow-up thoughts? Anything you want to say on?
I shouldn't be on this board if I can't speak my mind. And I'm disturbed when he's talking about labor. I know a young lady that cleans here and works very hard and makes an unlivable rate.
Mhm.
So that disturbed me. That's the first thing. If I can't speak my mind, I'll get off the board in a heartbeat. So I'm not here to be nice. I'm here to do my function as a labor representative. So that's the first thing. The second thing, are we inviting him to be a voice for the group that wants to build out on Grand Ave.
I don't think these
think
projects
they're
aren't
related,
affiliated.
is it?
They're not related, are they, Tracy?
But is that what he was saying? That he'd like to be part of that?
No, I think, I think, Gwen was
Tracy
just,
doesn't live there.
I think the conversation was mostly about the hotel tax that this.
That is a perspective that actually Tracy and I met with him. I was thinking, have we been here before?
Yeah.
Was it last year? But Tracy and I met with him, and I think how I'm experiencing Eric is he has a point of view about the hotel tax that he would like to just have be heard, to have the information on the table. Don't be smirking. To have the information on the table, right? To just provide some input. And the other thing is that he's affiliated with a statewide organization that they're basically lobbyists on for folks in their industry. So that's where I think he was going with that.
That's fair.
That's, and I think
He's doing
he's doing his job.
He's doing his.
So go ahead, Terry.
Oh, no, you're exactly saying.
Right. So I think when we're having site visits, that we also need to be open to whatever people are saying, but of course we need to contextualize whatever that input is from our perspective, and then our colleagues who are leaders in city government have to think about that at another level. So he's just sharing a point of view that he has. I don't think he's asking us to do anything.
Let me ask people on this board. It sounded to me as he was calling out people that make $1 over minimum wage, and I don't like that because that's not a living wage. That's not helping anyone
that's what
in
it-
this community.
We don't, I don't know if he even said, I think, from my
Sure sounded
understanding.
to me, Carrie.
He said
Or
$1.
Terry, I'm sorry.
Did he say $1?
He didn't say that.
He
Oh,
said,
yeah.
He
he said labor costs going up, and the biggest labor in any hotel is the people who clean, the people who work the front desk. And they're all.
He did, he said labor's going up, but I mean, and again, I don't think it's a judgment, it's just labor costs are.
Now, let me do this too, because let me help. No, and please, I'm not in the business of censoring anybody. So I'm glad you don't have to qualify that. Just say what you need to say. So all of you. My thing is that I also think after these visits, Tracy, if we need additional clarification about things, we should just get that clarification. I was hearing that like he was trying to describe that as part of an overall formula that helps them think about how they deal with expenses and cost. I wasn't listening to it in a really granular way, but I think we can just get some more clarification about that.
Well, I just need you guys to understand, that guy is highly educated, a lobbyist to the max. What he's wasting his time in Central New York for. That's just the kind of guy I fought against my entire adult life. I'm for the little guy. I'm for the blue collar guy. I'm for the people that are trying to make a living.
Yeah.
And I was always in trouble on the Auburn board because I'd always complain about the amount of money that the people who clean there and do all that kind of work, the secretaries that make garbage money. I was always in trouble. I'm still in trouble at the BOCES for talking about the same thing. Let's bring these wages up for these people.
Right.
And it's really tough in education because there's just no money
Right.
at all, but he kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Really rubbed me the wrong way.
Well, I think, Bill, this creates an opportunity for me to remind everybody that we are all sitting in this room because we're representing either a faction of the community or a specific industry. And so of course, right, you would have those perspectives and concerns that you express freely about the labor industry, as well as anybody else could have those same perspectives and opinions.
And I don't know if Tracy remembers this because I can't remember where you were at the time, but that local labor policy blossomed out of the nightmare of this. He had people from New Jersey here. They had people from Pennsylvania here. I used to spin around when they were building it. There was very few New York plates. And that's where that local labor policy mushroomed from right here. When it was first built, they had all kinds of problems with the roof. They had all kinds of problems with electrical systems. It's because he was looking to get out of it. The company, as cheap as possible. And they had all kinds of problems because of it. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna.
No, that's okay. I
my soapbox up,
Yeah.
but this is stuff that's important to me.
I understand, and I want to let you know that I understand that as the chair of the board. And I'm not in the business of censoring anybody in this room, and I do expect all of us to show up from our respective industry perspectives. And as we're having conversations and making decisions and learning about our community, I think it's important for us to hear from everyone
I
about.
try to be respectful. I was trying real hard, but the more he went on, I could taste the blood dripping down my.
I could see it. I could.
What I think might be helpful is that, this is a unique industry
Mhm.
and, you know, if that's the case, I mean, having a dialogue
Mhm.
where we may glean some information that is, whether it's a potential new project or, you know, what have you. Of course, understanding that there's a personal, investment
Mhm.
in the company that he represents.
Of course.
Right, so, but it is a unique industry.
It is.
So it's not like, a manufacturer that wants to come in or a company that we've done business with and they want to expand, you know, it's pretty rote, you know, it doesn't take any, but you know, as long as he's, you know, express some interest to have dialogue, you know, I don't see that as a bad thing.
And I don't think he's saying specifically with the ADA board. I think what he's saying is as conversations are happening across the
Right.
county
Right.
around things like room tax, he just wants to, he's offering his expertise
Absolutely.
to the conversation.
Right. I mean,
So,
the first time I came into seeing anything about a room tax was, does anybody want to fill in the blank? When John and I went to Gettysburg, that's the right answer. It's the only place that we always go. And when we saw it, and we said, what is this? What is this one? Well, that's gonna raise money for them to build a new high school. And that room tax, but then again, I mean, you're talking about thousands and thousands of people that go there in a tourism year. I mean, it's just phenomenal how much money is generated, and so we're looking at things differently here.
Mhm.
It's not like we have.
So I'm just gonna, kind of coming off of what you're saying about, you know, this is a unique industry and it'd be good to have a conversation about how this industry works versus some of the other industries we work with. I am working with SBDC to get some, just some additional insights and data about what's going on in the tourism industry here and in the region, for our conversation for that proposed project for a new hotel, so that we can have, you know, a kind of like a third party, like, okay, this is what's happening, here's what's happening in the market, and perhaps some insights as to what to be careful about or what some opportunities might be, just to. So we're getting some additional feedback that's not from our applicant about where.
I think that's very wise.
Yeah, so I will have some additional information of like about the industry. Plus I did get some information from Courtney about what they're doing in terms of, or from the tourism office about what they're doing in terms of demand drivers and what they're seeing in the market. So we'll have some additional information for that.
I don't know that I'm picking up what he's throwing down about reaching out to him specifically on like another hotel project, right? Like, I think what you're doing is doing due diligence.
Yeah.
You're talking to the tourism office. That's an independent party that has an independent thought process. And I'm not talking bad about him, but he has an ulterior motive. He owns a competing business
Mhm.
in the same market. This is a public meeting and he's welcome to come just like anybody else is. I don't think we should be, like, if Medent was coming to you, like if I was coming to you from Medent, I wouldn't want you reaching out to one of my competitors asking if you should approve my project or not, right? Like, but that competitor has the opportunity to come here. So that's my take on it.
Well, I think
I'll just leave it at that.
the good thing for us is that we do represent a lot of different industries, and government is part of that. And that, because I heard that too. I heard that, right? But I think that, I think the more we know about the people we are providing incentives to for projects, the better for us, not only for the business of this IDA, but for the system within which we work. because we are impacted by everything that's going on in the system. So not only am I saying, do we need to be educated about the projects, but we also need to have high levels of awareness about the people leading those projects. And so just to a final thing for me on this topic is that this whole idea of tourism as an economic driver is really percolating all over the state. And I was part of a video project that the tourism office is doing about a framework that they're using. And that might be an interesting board education piece, because the tourism industry is wanting to I think elevate the fact that they are inside the economic development, I always call it an ecosystem and not in addition to it. And I think what's happening here and why our particular specific tourism office is now trying to make this alignment between what they do and us might just be a good piece of education for us. My thing about us, I say this about my house, there should be nothing going on in my house that I don't know about. My kids, I watch MTV, Yo Hip Hop, because I want to know what they're listening to. But I think just because we're in the mix, when there's an opportunity for us to be educated about something, we should be. Good. I want to welcome to the hood, Alec. But I want to thank everybody for that. And Trace, where is our next on-site visit?
Can I add just?
Yeah, please.
Just a few things. I know
Mhm.
we got an agenda. I support you on that decision because who we're doing business with, I want you to talk.
Mhm.
I want to know what's on your mind.
Mhm.
I'm not necessarily gonna let you know if I agree with you or disagree with you, and then we can educate ourselves.
Mhm.
That's where I'm at with it.
Mhm.
And I do want some clarification, because is it Eric?
Mhm.
Thank you. When he left, everybody in this room was for the city of Auburn. So when he left, I don't know if anybody heard that statement, but he had said he wanted to invest a little bit more into Auburn, in his
Mhm.
words.
Mhm.
And then he left.
Mhm.
So can we get some clarification if he would share that with our board?
Mhm.
What exactly
Yeah,
does
what
he,
are more than hotels?
Right.
what's on your mind?
Yeah, they're a development company, I think, as well. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Thank you. Your spidey senses were on point. So, but
Sometimes you gotta sit back and
yes,
listen.
that's true.
Good,
That's great.
catch.
That's your superpower. All right. So are you and I just say things, right? I'm always open to questions, comments, concerns, and you telling me when that sounds whack to us. But I'm thinking that the more we know that's relevant, I think primarily to us accomplishing our strategic priorities, but what's percolating in this system around us, the better for us. Right. And I'm inviting you to be listening to these interactions that we have through your respective industry ears, because it's like a domino effect when it comes to economic. We're all impacted. Somebody makes a move, everybody's feeling it, at least along the course of the way. So I think I love the energy around this conversation, and I want us to always feel free to have this level of concern. And if you don't want to say it in this room for whatever reason, you can talk to me or Tracy outside of it as well. Okay, I'm kind of a everything can be on the table kind of a person. You're probably thinking it's a wild, wild west with these 8 meetings. It kind of is sometimes. All right. So thank you so much. And I hope you're hearing what I'm saying from my place of intention. I just want us to be really smart and wise, not only about what we do specifically, but we cannot be naive about what's going on around us as well. So I think, and having Courtney come in to talk about this framework that they're working inside of now could be helpful as a future education project. All right, ready to move on? Everybody good? Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Tracy, the commercial property promotion?
Yeah, so this is just part of the work plan. This is a work plan item to start to talk about. We have these 2 commercial properties. They're 14 and 12 acres in the tech park. We've had some interest on and off in them, but we've never actually formally listed them anywhere with a broker. So part of the work plan for this year was to start thinking about those properties intentionally, and whether we want to continue on this path of kind of submitting them for site selection. Sometimes it's nice to have that control of your listing, but it also does mean it's not in MLS. Some of the loop nets and stuff, like those online brokerage, they will pick this up, but before reaching out to brokers, I wanted to have a conversation with the board to get a sense of, do you want to potentially go that direction of listing our properties? Or more formally, Or are we happy with the way that we're promoting those properties now, which is a little more organic and ground up?
Tracy, can you describe what that would look like?
So basically, what engaging a broker would look like is basically like having a real estate agent for your house. You have someone who's out there listing the property, giving it to clients, sharing it with other brokers, sharing it with their relationships in their networks to try to find a buyer.
Got it. So are you asking us if you want our board to consider being more proactive around listing these properties?
Yes.
Okay, I was visualizing.
Sorry.
I was trying to make sure I
And
understood.
obviously that comes with a cost. I guess that's
Right.
the other thing. Having a broker comes with a cost. If they find a buyer, they get a percentage of that sale. And
Is-
where-
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
The only thing I wanted to ask you is there a rush into commercial properties in this area now? Is there like a reason to be more aggressive in putting these on the market at this time?
I think Micron supply chain is starting to look. We're getting those site selection requests and we're submitting them.
Okay,
But I think if our properties were more visible, it could bring more interest to those.
Yeah, it is our intention, right, to get someone to buy them or utilize them, correct? All right, I just want to make
That
sure.
said, listing a residential properties has not been successful.
Yeah.
yeah, we know that.
I was
I mean, the residential.
My brain had to like do a flip here.
But the dynamic is a little bit different and especially right now.
Right now,
With
okay.
the regional interest. You know, 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know that it would make sense because no one was looking for commercial property. But right now, there is a lot of interest in the region and perhaps if we're gonna make a move, now's the time.
No, it's the time. Okay, that's all I wanted to hear, yeah.
So how does that sit with your head, your heart, or your gut?
So the only drawback would be the added commission?
How long have the properties been idle? Not been used?
Forever.
Forever?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were farmland
okay.
and Ada acquired them in the 90s.
There was a purchase offer on one of them
Yes,
6 years ago.
Yeah.
And that kind of fell through. It was, they were gonna make a growth facility
Okay.
and New York State couldn't get out of their way and fell through.
Well, what do you think?
There was also the site for the cell phone tower.
Yeah,
That was in
We don't want to talk about
2016.
that.
Just so that
That was before my
just-
time.
Just to let you know.
Traumatized.
I fixed it.
At the ADA meeting of May 28th.
I still have Karen in my phone before I knew her last name. I still have her in here as Karen cell phone lady.
There you go. See that? I've been called worse.
Yeah, I guess.
I've been thinking about it. So it's okay. My thought on it, because I'm a neighbor. Is what always kind of like stirs in me is that, like, take for example with the salmon.
Mhm.
The salmon, okay, right, so that was Ada property,
I actually don't think that one was Ada property.
okay, that one was not,
That
Yeah,
one-
they
I think
bought
that
it from
one was sold by
somebody.
okay.
Right?
Yeah, they bought it from.
Can't remember the
Colella?
company. Yes, Colella, yeah, yes, that's
So that
right,
would-
Chris Colella.
Okay, that's correct, all right, so let's go with, let's say,
Next
Next
Studio.
Studios.
Yeah.
Okay, and so now he's done with the useful life for his purposes and he sells to someone else. So then, so once that property is relinquished, then Ada has no oversight over it,
Correct. It's this, so that, but that, there is a special zoning district there.
correct?
So
So they
it's
would
really
have
the
to,
zoning that
so as long as they,
here.
it would be the only governing
Yes.
governor, let's say, of the machine, okay.
So any other just thoughts or feelings? So Tracy,
But sorry, to finish answering your question, I think
Yeah.
Ada's owned the property since sometime in the 90s, and it was farmland before that. It's been undeveloped. So it's been. There was a sale to Max Studios, that they just sold the property, which has like, I saw an article that has a business going in there. And so it's been idle for quite some time.
So I guess my thought is, it's been that long and nothing's happened. Do something different and
Yeah.
maybe something will happen,
Other thoughts, Tess, Mayor? Dan?
No, I agree. I listed, I think now's the time if we're gonna do it.
Right.
So I'll just start putting some feelers out.
No, that's good.
with
So the
workers.
expense would only be upon sale, there's no upfront expense.
That would be my expectation.
Okay, yeah, I just, with Tess with us talking in the past, that like, we're, till we get some of these projects.
So what I'll start with is just putting out some feelers, get a sense of, because like I know a lot of the regional workers and kind of how they operate, but get a sense for what the contracts look like and what our responsibilities would be and what maybe even they think might need to happen prior to really listing it, if there's any development work that might be helpful there, because that could also be a factor. If they say like, hey, you really need to clear these properties before you put it up on the market, well, maybe now's not the time to do that.
Right.
But,
And I would,
so I'll just start.
I would
putting some
want to be
feelers.
very cautious with the 14-acre property because there are wetlands there,
There's what there?
wetlands.
Oh,
So, well, I'll just start putting some feelers out and then bring some next month. Great. Interesting.
What's that?
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna say, a few years ago, we did have like, a company come in and do, this kind of like. Assessment of the land to kind of prepare us for something like this. It's been a while, but I think just having somebody go out to try to sell it, I think is all we need.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I still actually do share those reports.
Yeah.
With interested parties, like if someone does express an interest, I do share those reports with them. because
Not much
it's
has
good.
changed.
You know, phase one ESA, nothing has really changed, like, before they get bank financing, they're gonna have to update it, but it's good that we have that as a.
Baseline, yeah.
The wetlands delineation is expired and the state has changed all the processes anyway.
So have to
Yeah,
do it
good
again.
starting
Yeah,
point to understand what's there.
Get a guesstimate,
So it's good that we have those studies.
So I think you're hearing from the board, Tracy, that to go ahead and explore what it would take to get brokers involved would be, we don't need to vote on that or anything?
No.
Okay. Under unfinished business, Tracy has a list of things for us to consider.
Yeah, so just for, in terms of the marketing committee, I did put out the call for volunteers. I've got one good referral, but no actual submissions yet. It's not due until later this month, so next month we should have some indication of if there is interest in the committee based on the outreach that we've been doing. I did send a press release. I haven't actually seen anything on it, but I listed on the volunteer queue go through United Way. I sent it out to some of our community partners, a big tourism office, just for like who they know. So we'll see what comes back. So that's just an update, but it is out there. And we'll have more on that next month. Audit committee, though, we should fill that vacant spot, even though there will only be one more meeting for that committee this year. So I really just need a volunteer for that committee.
who's on currently?
Who's on currently? Who met last month? Jimmy and Dan. Are the two current members. We need a third. There will be one meeting to review policies.
I was
And
looking
I
at
can't-
marketing, but if that's not available right now, then I'll do that one.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, man.
Is there a motion for that?
Okay.
I'll second. You start volunteering.
Yeah,
He's really good before you know it.
We'll let you do it when that other committee comes up.
Yes.
You got one meeting, Matt. Yeah.
Somehow they wrote me into like 4 things.
Yeah.
I'm
Just-
I know. That's what I'm trying to do.
Good for you,
Be careful.
Tracy.
You're gonna have more time.
It's either that or we get voluntold.
More months.
I thought you were
I seen
gonna
you
go
left
for
that.
that.
I seen her left that.
Okay, so that's it for that.
Mhm.
Did we vote on that? I had it first.
Well, I had a first and second
Yeah.
on that motion to add Matt to the audit committee. I'm hoping that's what the motion was. All right, any further discussion? All right, if not, I'll take a vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? Abstentions? Great, passes. Thank you.
So just some quick general updates. I did send that correspondence to Ryco about their job creation, and they responded saying, great, we're on the same page. We'll keep you posted. So that went fine. Our website issues are half fixed. Our website no longer has malware, so it's no longer actually dangerous. It is still, however, blacklisted by some of the providers. And I've been going back and forth with GoDaddy for a while now to help work on getting it unblacklisted, but. um,
What's blacklist?
So if you, some people, depending on their browser, when they go through the site, it'll come up with a warning screen saying this is a hazardous site. So it doesn't encourage people, it discourages people from going to the website, even though it is now safe. But because there was an issue, they put up that warning and they haven't taken it down. We've requested that they take it down a few times and some of the providers have, but there's still 3 or 4 major ones that lagging. So I'm still directing the other domains to the temporary site and I'm putting all of our meeting stuff there, until we fix that, but I don't know, Dan, if you have any insights, but
Yeah, let me take a look at something later, 'cause
great. That
Oh, okay.
red screen.
Yeah,
red
that's,
screen.
that's not very inviting.
No.
That happens when I text.
And the other, I do just want to bring to the boards, so still working on it, but it is safe now, so if you do click through, but I haven't been updating that site with all of our information.
So the screen Matt's showing now, so if you get that screen, you couldn't go on it, no matter what you did, or could you get on?
Depends on what
the-
browser.
You can, like, there is
should be able to click through.
Some let you click through, some don't.
details.
Also, if it's like from a work computer, it might say you can, but.
Silkwood.
But if you do click through, no, you will not have malware now. The other thing I just wanted to call your attention to, under upcoming events, there is in December an Economic Development Fundamentals webinar that's being hosted by the International Economic Development Council. It's like a half day webinar, but it's going over a lot of the like Economic Development 101, if anyone is interested in that. It's a $200 registration if we register by November 25th. So if that is of interest to anyone, let me know, and we can get the board to approve it and everything. But I didn't want to call your attention to that because it's a good opportunity if anyone is looking for an economic development primer. They're a very well renowned organization and they know what they're talking about. So I have no doubt it will be a good seminar. And that's the general updates.
Great. And next we have our treasurer's report.
Yep, so I'll start with the bills. There are 3 bills this month. Mine. What were they?
Not
Dana-
the registration.
Oh, yeah, the registration. So Karen will be attending the Cooperstown Conference, the New York State Economic Development Council. Cooperstown Conference, so her registration is on the bills. And then Dana Bullen McKee, another installation for the 2025 audit. Those are the 3 bills for this one.
Any questions about the bills? If not, I'll entertain a motion to pay the bills as presented.
I'll mention.
Thank you, Courtney. A second. Dan, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed, abstentions, pass.
And do you want me to do the CD or do you want to do it?
Oh, I can, well, I think what Karen was partly referring to earlier when we were talking about the sale of the land was cash flow.
Yeah.
So, the CD is maturing, yes, today,
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. So we were discussing that we would not renew it for the sake of cash flow. Got good news that Dill Street did pay. So that obviously does bring in some cash as well, so, yeah, I think
so
that was.
yes. So what we're looking to do is get consensus of the board to roll that CD over into the money market at this point, and then when some more cash comes in, we can revisit.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I'm sure we've been doing pretty good on that CD in the last couple of years, so the interest rates being so high, so. But
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
we need the cash flow, so I mean, but I'm fine with putting it back in the money market.
Yeah, the good thing is there's a lot of projects coming through.
Yes,
So. I mean, we're hopeful that, within the next 6 months of having enough to put
Put it
more in
back,
some
yeah.
kind of investment.
Sure.
To bank on those higher interest rates. So as a finance committee, we met in February, so I think I missed the last meeting since then, but we're talking a lot about being future oriented because when you look at the financials, and I really appreciated the month to month profit and loss comparison, just to see the ebbs and flow throughout the year. But again, just with that, you know, 1, 2, maybe 3 big projects that will really help to bring that back up, but just keeping an eye on that and making these types of decisions and keeping everyone involved in it is part of the normal conversation.
So in order to do this, I need to entertain a motion to move funds from the CD into the money market. Okay,
I have a question.
go ahead. Yes.
So does it have to be all of it? I don't remember. I remember seeing the amount, but I don't remember what it was. Does it have to be all of it, or could it be some of it? You know, like some
We could.
still roll into a CD and some in the money market.
We could do some of it, however, our money market doesn't make any interest if we're under 25,000. And we are now down to like 1,000 or something like that, so rolling the 25,000 in would get us back into an interest bearing situation for the money market.
Okay.
That said, we could also move some from checking and some from the CD and have a part, like a smaller CD. It might just get a slightly lesser percentage yield.
Yeah, I think our thought behind it was, how much would we put in a CD to make it worth having it held up for at least probably 3 months, I would think. So, and then looking at what our current cash flow is and knowing what the bills are. But definitely all those items in the big picture to see what our balances need to be.
So it could be reassessed like 3 months from now.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's the CD is expiring, so we could go back with,
next month.
yeah.
We want to put more
Yeah.
money.
What's the fee from Dill Street?
It was 30 something thousand, 37,000, I think it was.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we? Good. All right, so the motion on the floor is that we move funds from our expired CD and push those funds into our money market account. It was moved by Courtney, seconded by Dan. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, passes. And now, on to Tessa.
Do you have anything else to add for the treasurer's
Oh.
report?
No, it's not at all.
So the documents were part of our packet, though. The balance sheet was there.
Yeah.
Any notes or anything about that? The P&L was there.
Sorry, just talk about all of it in big summary.
You
But
good? Yeah, you
I
can.
did.
You actually
if-
can.
I did try to highlight the new
Mhm.
report with
Right.
the monthly profit.
Mhm.
Well done.
But we still do need to make a motion to accept the treasurer's report. Great, so I would entertain a motion for to take the, thank you, Karen, a second. Thank you, Mayor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great, thank you very much. We're moving right along on a sunny day. All right, and then
Beautiful day.
any board education, Trace, is that where we are?
Yeah, so I don't think we have a need for executive session unless someone has. Okay. So board education, I just, earlier this year, the authority's budget office put out some policy guidance on executive session. And a really nice summary of when to use executive session, what's allowed, how to go in and out of executive session, making sure that you're using the right terminology and writing things down correctly in the minutes. So that was attached. I don't know that I want to go through it word for word, but just it's worth taking a look at because it has, actually, I'll put it up on the screen.
I was gonna ask you if you would do that, because I see you highlighted thing.
Where'd it go? Hold on, I lost it. Oh, there it is. So the things that I highlighted are just like kind of the key points to be aware of. I think we all know this is that it's a public meeting unless we have a specific reason to go into executive session, and at that point we can decide who's in. The board would be in, but you can invite other members in. I also highlighted the 3 main reasons that the IDA uses executive session. A lot of them aren't really relevant to us. We don't have like public safety matters. We don't have like informants and things like that. So the 3 reasons that we would typically use executive session are to discuss proposed pending or current litigation. To discuss the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation. Or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, blah, 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 of those things. This one is the one that is pointed out in the guidance later of like, do not just say we're going into executive session for contract negotiations. That is not an appropriate use of executive session. However, if any of these things are relevant, use this and use the appropriate language. This is one that gets messed up a lot, and that's why they actually mention it later. But then the third one is the proposed acquisition, sale, and lease of real property.
Tracy,
Technically-
Tracy, I'm sorry. I just had an eye appointment today and the drops still have, my eyes aren't as focused. Can you read the middle one to me? I can't quite make it out. Oh, thank you.
This one's pretty.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it now. No need to read it. I can read it now.
So this last one, the proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property is one that is also often used liberally. More liberally than it should. Technically, should only use executive session if the discussion is going to affect the value of the property. So if you're just having a conversation like, oh, should we list it, should we not? Like, what are we doing with the broker? Like, that's not really executive session material. But if, say, there's like a proposed purchase offer on the table and releasing that information to the public could cause an issue with the price, that's executive session. So this is one that also organizations use very liberally and perhaps more often than they should. So that was just one point I wanted to make. You can't vote to appropriate any public monies in executive session. You can make votes in executive session, but you have to document them in the minutes. I prefer not to. I prefer to just make all motions when we come out. And then, oh yeah, personnel issues is not sufficient. So a contract negotiation and personnel issues are two reasons that are commonly used. You commonly hear, and they're just like not technically sufficient as an explanation for going into executive session.
So are you saying, Tracy, that it would be the
Yes.
the language that we use
Correct.
to have that conversation going into, has to
Yes.
be in alignment with
Yes.
the ABS.
So you might notice like either on the agenda or in minutes, I will pull language directly from this list. So that we're using the appropriate language in our minutes, even if maybe we did verbalize it that way. But yes, we want to try to stick to this exact language as opposed to.
But when you say contract negotiations, that's excluding collective bargaining,
Correct.
because that is.
That
That
is.
is
executive
correct.
session. Yes. Collective bargaining is. executive
Yes.
session. It's just not one we would use. because
Yeah, we don't have, yes.
Lucky.
I know. And then this page, this last page is the one that I would just encourage you to look at. Cause it's like just a really nice list of common mistakes. So just take a look at it when you have a chance. Like this is the language this is the common language organizations often use that's not correct versus what you should be saying.
Oh, thank you.
I like that.
So it's just like a cool little
guide. So Tracy, let me just ask you something, because typically when we're looking at the agenda and there could be something that needs to be discussed in executive session, when you annotate the agenda for me, will you put the proper language in there for me? Have you been
Yeah.
doing that? I just didn't know.
No.
That could be happening.
So what I'll do.
Being great.
Like in today's agenda, I said if needed, because I didn't have anything, but if I knew that we had like a property discussion, I would often put in this note for the proposed sale or lease of real property.
And that would be in alignment with the language, because I think that's the easiest way to keep us in track. She does annotate the agenda for me, and so since I have to ask for that, I just want to make sure that we're doing it properly. Any other questions or thoughts about this?
No, I think we've always, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
When I was first on the Auburn School Board way back in 1999, I tell you, we used executive session secretary. I used to go, because I didn't want to hear, it was so bad. It was so bad.
So
I,
then
I
if,
think we do a good job with it.
Yeah. I
so
think
if
this is good.
we had a business or party that we have concerns about their, their agreement with us. So there'd be, if it's a contract, it's so forth, that would be an appropriate use to go into executive session so that it doesn't, degrade the integrity of, say, the business. But we do need to delve into some sensitive material.
Right, so if the material that we're talking about is related to one of these things,
Mm-hmm.
then yes, we can do executive session. But it would need to be to discuss the like proprietary financials or if, I would think, and maybe Alec, this is either you or Rob can clarify or verify, but I would think if we're discussing a default, a
Mm-hmm.
potential default, we might be able to, because we're talking about dismissing someone from an agreement.
Right.
So maybe we can just.
What is the
clarify.
clarification? Sorry.
So like, can we use executive session if we're considering defaulting an agreement, a pilot agreement?
Okay.
As a dismissal of a corporation from a contract.
So I just have another clarifying question. So can I use you as an example?
Yeah.
So when we were discussing engaging you under the umbrella of your own company, and we went into executive session for private, is that an appropriate use of executive session? Tracy's like,
Yes.
say yes, that would be the answer. But I just want to make sure I'm understanding. I know you wouldn't lead me down a wrong path, Tracy, but I just want to make sure, because other of those kinds of contracts can come before us. And I just want to make sure that we are using the session as properly.
So something like that would fall under matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion,
Got it.
discipline,
Okay.
suspension, dismissal, removal of a particular person or corporation.
Okay, I just want to make sure because of the nature of our business and how we do engage people that operate almost in 1099 hours.
Yeah,
So that would be.
but there are also things about contracts that we have, like pilots, that aren't appropriate for executive session. So we just want to be very careful about making sure we're falling under these particular uses.
Mhm.
And it's not something that's not under the allowable.
So they're pretty much, I think, Dan and Tessa could help me because it's been a while and we don't do executive session of BOCES maybe once a year. So D and F are pretty much what is used at public education too. Remember it that way, Dan, Tessa?
Well, and they said something
most
specifically
part.
about you, like unions.
Right, contract negotiations.
Yeah, collective negotiations under civil service law also would be common for a school board potentially.
I think Courtney had something. I cut her off.
And so, no, you good. Rob did clarify some of this for us last year, and he was serious about it, so.
Yeah.
Let Rob know that we revisited and we're taking this seriously.
Yeah. Rob's like, excuse me. Right.
Yes, it's table.
And I'm actually glad to hear it too.
It's like Ixnay, don't do
Does
it.
this all fall under Robert's rules?
Yeah, and you know, I'm really, it's important to me, all jokes aside, because we do have fun meetings, that we really do understand what's appropriate. We're really fortunate to have Tracy, who of course keeps me as the chair on track. The other piece, Tracy, and I don't know if we ever got to this because there was a lot of stuff popping, but just understanding open meeting law. I think you might have given us something, but if there's a fast food for the eyes kind of way for you to help us be conscious of that as well. Because every once in a while, we offer somebody who's gotten jacked up because they weren't in compliance or in alignment with that. So I think it's related to, but not necessarily the same thing. So if we could just have a little a refresher of that for our organization too. And Tracy and Rob never allow us to go down that laneway, but I just want us to know. Go ahead, Dan.
I believe the Committee on Open Government still does like a pamphlet on
Yeah.
open meetings law and
Yeah.
what the rules are on that. That's pretty easy to understand.
All right.
It's everything other than that.
That's right. Thank you, Kara. She's like, all of it but that.
But that.
Great. So, great. And you know, just for me as your chair, it's important to me that we be doing the right work in the right way and in alignment with the laws and policies and practices that regulate us. Is there anything else to come before the board?
Yes, go on.
Yes.
I just want to state, and I'm going on the record, should I, Mayor, go on the record? But I just wanted to state seriously, you leading this board, you can tell that you definitely try to be very cautious about what you state before you state it.
Mhm.
That's definite. So I want record and say it.
Well, thank you very much, because I better, right? But I do appreciate that, because you all know that I take this position really seriously. I recognize that not only are we carrying our own brand on our backs, but we also have a relationship with the city of Auburn that we have to be really responsible for, and our own individual reputations and brands as well. So thank you for noticing that about me, Courtney, because that really matters to me. I have something I'd like to share, and it's something that I'm proud about from a couple of levels. But last month, I attended the upstate New York Minority Women's Business Enterprise Conference. And my company was selected as the inaugural Legacy Building MWBE Business Award for the work that I've done over 40 years. So I was really proud about that personally. My friends always laugh. I'm like, I'm so proud of myself, but I really am proud of myself. But the other thing, thank you so much. I'd like to share that. But I also want to say that in part because everybody's like from Buffalo, Rochester, a lot of my colleagues in Syracuse know me, but people don't often think about the cities like Auburn and Geneva that are in the Finger Lakes section of the state. And so that for me to be from Auburn and that come to us, to me, I think of the community, right, as well, because this is where my business has always been. From the mayor of Rochester was really not only a personal honor for me, but the fact that he could have,
He's wonderful.
yeah, could have given
He's great.
that recognition to anybody from any larger city. And he recognized the value, not only of my business as a long-term MW, but the fact that I do business here in this city made me really proud. So I want to just let you know that I'm proud of myself, but I'm also really proud that our community, way back when, even that certification wasn't a big deal, Mayor Quill was really supported me bringing up my company. And I will let you know that as a result of that, I've been able to work nationally from this place. And so I think I'm a great example of what can happen to a small business. I hope you heard that from my place of intention. But I also want to let you know that I'm really honored to be an entrepreneur that has done business here that would rise to that level of recognition. Because they're like, girl, where is Auburn? I'm like, listen, it's right down the road. So I wanted to share that with you too.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good job.
Thank
What,
you.
okay. The drops must have affected.
Yeah.
You know, what Courtney said is what I was trying to get to. That's
Mhm.
why when I've got that tongue biting
Mhm.
going on,
Mhm.
I'm so afraid to say something that's
Mhm.
gonna hurt
Mhm.
this organization or the city that I'm proud to say I'm one of its biggest cheerleaders.
Right.
Because I don't want to do something that's going to be negative. But I have to say it.
Right.
I have to say it. A lot of the things he said rubbed me the wrong way.
Mhm.
Because being a member of labor is why I'm here looking out for the lower middle class commoner. On my Facebook page says it all, how I introduce myself. So I don't want to hurt us, but yet I might as well not be here if I can't speak my mind.
Well,
And I don't think like you do, Gwen. I'm a gunslinger.
Mhm. I know.
I shoot from the hip
Mhm.
because it's just the way I am. So I need you two ladies.
Mhm.
I should probably sit next to you. If I'm off, if I'm gonna do something that's gonna lead us down the wrong path.
Mhm.
Give me my mother was great at giving me the evil eye. Just give me the evil eye and shut me up.
I have that.
You just gotta look at my face. You just gotta look at my face.
You know, Bill, I respect you saying that. And here's, let me just say this. Yeah.
Here, I usually like you.
Come on. Like,
Well, I want to be really clear that I believe that this is an open table, right? And that
yeah,
we do
and
need to say.
I'm welcome. I'm all about it.
I do want to say this, however, and this is my only thing about it, because I'm a gunslinger too, in my own way, but I'm also leading this body. And so I have to hold a certain posture and position and hold a certain kind of decorum at the meeting, right? But if you follow me on social media, you know,
Mhm.
that's like, the mayor knows, right? So here's the thing. You all probably have had an experience with me at one point, but here's my thing about it, is that I'm being very sincere when I'm saying where I'm inviting you to bring your respective points of view and opinions to the table. Here's our reality. Everything we say or do is for public consumption. So the worst case scenario is the mayor might get a call or for anything any of us say. And I'm not censoring myself in this space. I'm really just functioning as the leader of the pack. But I do think that we just, as long as everybody is aware that everything we say is for public consumption, and we as a body are willing to deal with
To own
the
that.
joy and
Yeah.
challenge of owning that,
Definitely.
that would be it. So in any case, it could be any of you who have said something and somebody might say to me or the mayor. And if it was like a big deal, I'd talk about that. But most of the case I'm going to say is I'm going to describe that this culture that I'm creating in this boardroom, and we can understand impact and consequences and then decide how we need to manage or deal with those. So I don't want any of you to feel like you're biting your tongues, because I don't. I just know how to finesse things. But I'm very much like you. It's very much my leaders, my communication style. So does that kind of level set us? Because I'm going to tell you this, unspoken stuff in a boardroom is dangerous.
Mhm. I agree.
Right? When the meeting's really
Yeah.
happening in the parking lot, that's problematic to me.
Yeah.
So I'd rather it be said here and we roll with the joy and challenge of whatever comes up here than any of you feeling like you can't say what needs to be said. And we just have to have heightened awareness because we get the feedback, right? People always tell me they don't like what I said. I'm like, okay, well, let me switch how I said it to you because I'm going to say it. But so does that it? Because I don't want anybody feeling like they have to be on eggshells in this space. Does that make sense? And as long, not only for you, Bill, I think as long as we're all open to feedback about how something might play in Peoria, we just need to be aware because the mayor will probably get it before I do. Right? And so
Well, I just think the beauty of the
we're
statute,
having a board
Get
culture
why-
thing like that.
the beauty of the statute requires two members of council.
Right.
So they need to be at the table because they have insight that the rest of us
Sure.
don't have, or they have a different viewpoint,
Mhm.
you know, long reaching, whatever, they know that piece of government. You have to have a member of labor
Mhm.
and you're it.
Mhm.
And so you don't need to really apologize,
Yeah.
or if that's your perspective, that's what you bring, you
Yeah, I
know,
just
to the
don't want
table.
for any
A member of
project.
board occupation, you know, because that's a critical piece to any community. If you don't have well-educated people coming up through. So I just think then the at-large members, we all bring our charm and grace to the table.
So are we, I'm being very sincere. Are we on a page about this? That if you have something on your heart and mind, I want you to say it. Our meetings are for public consumption. And if somebody outside of us has a problem with that, I'm sure I'll hear about it or you might hear about it and we will just deal with it and I would just really say.
Would you rather ask me,
Mhm.
ladies, the two of you, our two leaders,
Mhm.
would you rather have me when I'm at that point, ask for an executive session? That would have been kind of strange when he's given a presentation.
It wouldn't be executive.
No.
That doesn't, because once it doesn't warrant an executive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're fine.
Listen, and I want to tell you, Bill, I don't want you to be overly concerned about
Yeah,
that,
don't-
okay? I want you to be who you are and say what you need to say. And what I'm saying to all of us, because it could be any of us at any given moment, that if someone who watches one of our videos is feeling some kind of way about something that happened in this meeting, and they brought it to my attention or to the mayor's attention, I do think it's appropriate for us to talk about the impact of that, but I'm not going to say, therefore, don't say what you want to say. Does that make sense? Am I making sense about that?
Yes.
It does
Okay.
make sense,
Yeah.
Gwen, because seriously, when we do conduct our committee meetings every month, you do say, and you state to all the
Mhm.
committee members here and the council, state what's on your mind and your heart.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you say it.
And I believe that divergent thinking is powerful.
Mhm.
And I'm a tough chick. So, and the mayor's, if I was a boy, I'd be the mayor. So he's a tough guy. So I don't want anyone to be concerned about that. Are we in agreement about that?
Yes.
Okay.
The strongest the sport's ever been. I've been on longer than.
Thank you.
It's great.
Well, we got this. We got this. I haven't said to the mayor, what kind of legacy do we want to leave about this ADA board? And we're chipping in that direction. So if there's nothing else to come before us, I'd entertain a motion for us to adjourn.
One thing.
Well, go right ahead.
as most of you know, I've been saying all year that I am retiring
Mhm.
from the school board. My last meeting, I think here would be June. I changed my mind last night, so
Oh, good.
I will be
good.
running again. If
Mhm.
you guys would do me the favor of signing my petitions when you on your way out. I would-
After adjournment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After we adjourn.
There you
before
go.
leave, please.
Here you go, Dan.
I would appreciate
In
it.
executive session.
Wow.
Okay. As a
But that-
DJ would say, remix, Tracy, would you go over that?
No,
My
no,
favorite DJ would say.
I was not asking that. You just preempted me before you leave, please.
Thank you.
If you would, I would be honored. And with that, I would make a motion.
Well, thank you so much. Welcome to the Ada world. Hey, it
I'll
was
second it.
first and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Go outside and enjoy the rest of the sunshine.
That's right.
I'm proud of us. We're doing good work.
Dan, this time you had me fooled. I really thought you were gonna retire.
Me too.
Last time I knew